do that if you can. I'll wait for a minute or so. To everybody in the audience and people who are watching us live, uh, this is Prayank Khandelwal, founding partner of Photon Legal. Today is World Intellectual Property Day, and we are hosting the first ever webinar related to IP and technology in the metaverse. The topic of the webinar is Are we Metaverse Ready? And today we have distinguished speakers with us, Alex Lee and Gianfranco Lopin, or G. I'm going to call him G, and he just helped out me and saved my life with the pronunciations. Thank you so much, G. Thanks, Alex, for gracing the occasion. Within few minutes, we will start this panel discussion and would be sharing a lot about metaverse and are we actually ready to go into the metaverse or not. Today is a very special day. Let's get this technical bit clear and move forward. I'm very grateful for all the members and the participants who are present in the amphitheater right now in the metaverse, Photon Legal's metaverse, and also to the people who are attending us on YouTube, Facebook, Insta, or LinkedIn, everywhere. Thank you so much. G, you would like to say something to the audience before we begin? Superb. Thank you so much, G. Alex, how do you feel?
Oh, very good. Yeah, thanks for having me for this wonderful event. Yeah, I think that the metaverse is really growing now. And then this kind of the event is a much more very the timely event. There are a lot of the people are interested to attend this metaverse meeting. So yeah, thank you for hosting this kind of exciting meeting today.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That gives us a perfect start. The technical team will excuse me will keep your cameras on and they can do their bit. In the meanwhile, let me introduce our panel today. So today we have on the left Alex Lee, who's an IT or digital technology innovation and IP development expert with 30 years of experience in high-tech industry. Alex is principal consultant at Take IPM LLC, a partner at Vincula Group, a New York State attorney, US patent attorney, and a founder of the Enterprise or Industrial Metaverse Forum online, which covers digital twins, AI, blockchain, IoT, AR convergence. Alex also holds PhD in physics from Johns Hopkins University, JD from Suffolk University Law School, and an executive certificate in strategy and innovation from MIT Sloan School of Management. We are glad to have you, Alex, on the panel. Your academics as well as professional expertise would give a lot of value to the entire audience of ours. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Moving on, we have Gianfranco Lopin, who serves as the head of business development at Dat Chat's social network plus metaverse, NFT, and blockchain initiatives. In his last 20 years of experience, he has worked with startups and Fortune 500 companies like Nestle, Hertz, and XPO Logistics in different senior level positions. In 2017, he started his career in the blockchain space. As he mentioned that 5 years ago, he started entering into this space and co-founded an advertising networking company for the metaverse. In 2018, he co-founded Genrico, which is helping dozens of companies migrate to the blockchain space. It's going to be an interesting conversation with you, G, in understanding a lot of nuances of migration from physical to digital world like metaverse. Thank you so much for gracing the panel today.
Sure. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm excited just to talk about the metaverse and we're just starting here. You know, we're so early. So all of you guys, here attending to this panel. You're early. You're less than 1% of the world, just so you know, guys.
You're early. You're less than 1% of the world.
Superb, G. Thank you so much. So, I mean, a lot of air has been around since the time Facebook changed the name of the company to Meta, following which they also bought the VR headset company Oculus, and now everybody is going crazy about Metaverse, NFT, Web3. So let's clear some air. G, you have been into this for the last 5 years. Can you please elaborate on what kind of developments have you seen in last 5 years, and what role is your company playing into Metaverse?
Yeah, that's a great question. So 5 years ago, actually,
That's a great
there
question. So
any
5 years ago,
wait,
actually,
I hear myself.
wasn't there
1 second.
any.
We can hear you.
Wait,
Yeah,
I
but
hear
the thing is,
myself.
I'm hearing myself.
1 second.
Let me see if I can. 1 second.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm hearing myself. Let me see if I can. 1 second.
If I can get some technical assistance here, please.
If I can get some technical assistance here, please.
Okay, so let me do something. I will do it without listening to myself. So
Okay,
so
so
5 years
let
ago,
me do
when I
some.
started the metaverse, working in the metaverse, actually it wasn't called the metaverse. I started working for the AR and VR space. Actually, in 2018 was my first investment was in Decentraland, which is one of the first decentralized metaverse out there. That was in April 2018, and they didn't open until 2020. So actually, the decentralized metaverse came into play in 2020 with Decentraland, but before that, the metaverse was all centralized. So basically, everything started in 2003 with Second Life. I don't know if you guys remember Second Life, but that was the first metaverse out there. It was part of a company, same thing as all space VRs is Microsoft, and also Horizon is from Meta. So what started like in 2020, it was the way to help people to own something in the metaverse. Because that's the beauty of the decentralized metaverse. That you can own a parcel, you can own a property in the metaverse. But before that, you have like metaverse that was games like Second Life or All Space VR. It was like gaming and social metaverse. So in 5 years, I seen that the born and growth of the decentralized metaverse. And I'm excited because my company, what it does is we are the ad network platform for the metaverse, meaning that we help the landowners in the metaverse to monetize their land. Because if you think about it, big companies as Facebook, Instagram, Google, they make their money with advertisement, right? So we as DatChat, as Venview, we created the ad network platform not to get rich with the advertising, because no, what we're doing is we're giving back the money to the people. So every single landowner that owns a land in any decentralized metaverse, it could be Decentraland, the Sandbox, some new spaces, CryptoBozo, or you name it. And you own a land and you own one of our NFTs from Benview, you can monetize that directly from the brands. So meaning that if a brand wants to make an advertisement in the metaverse, okay, we help them to put in the metaverse, but the money will go to the landowner. So that's actually the role of my company in the metaverse.
Interesting point, G. Thanks for making the points clear. Of course, we're gonna be discussing a lot about the ad point of view as well. Let me move to Alex. So Alex, you have been into this industry for
Can you
quite
hear
a
me,
few
guys?
long time now. Alex?
Yes.
Yeah. So you have been into this industry for quite a few time now, and you also are a patent attorney. Tell us from your perspective, what kind of applications or real world use case one can foresee in the metaverse now?
That's very good question because as a patent attorney, I am also like a technology innovation expert. So whenever there is like a new like emerging technology coming out, I always look at the patent landscape. The reason is that patent is a good indicator to find out what the status of the state of the innovation. So I recently I had my webinar about the like of how you get the innovation insight from the patent. And then the current status is in a kind of the boom stage. That means that there is still growing. Then I look at the trend of the Metaverse patent application. Actually, there was some peak in the 10 years before by some reason. I think that I look at what the reason because of some at the time there was a Metaverse concept just emerges and get attention from a lot of the innovators. So there was a lot of activities in the Metaverse patent application. And then by some reason, maybe the like a second life, whatever, I look at the reason, maybe the market is not mature, and then supporting technology, for example, the like infrastructure technology, like a cloud computing or other computing power or other software technology, and especially for the network technology is not there. So they could not support like a seamless application to be really experienced today now this kind of platform. So it was like some depression in the metaverse innovation, and then suddenly, and then I look at it like 10 after 10 years later, like recently, there was a lot of the patent application related to the not only the fundamental technology like XR devices and other like 3D technology and spatial computing and then Web3 and then blockchain and other network technology. The application patent application is increasing now. So I look at the like some of the like key areas of application patent, and then I found that all aspects of the application, for example, that all the vertical industry, especially the more focused on recent application is like metaverse shopping, like experience. So you may heard about like for example, a lot of brand like a Nike or other like a fashion design brand and other luxury brand, they open their metaverse shops. So that kind of application actually was not enough to get the attention from the people. And then now they link with the real space. For example, that Samsung, they open their like real space shop in the New York, and then they make the corresponding virtual shop in the like a Decentraland. So this kind of trend will be keep going on. That there will be increasing in get the attention from the industry and application of the digital metaverse to their own business will be increased, and then in parallel the application of patent also get increased. So I think that we are in an ever increasing stage, and then based on like a Gartner hyper cycle, we are still in the like a hyper because a lot of people are still skeptical about the like for example whether the current state of the technology innovation can fully support what we talk about vision. Like the vision is complete like convergence of the real and virtual space. Like for example that the Meta declared that every people will join the metaverse space and then spend their life in some hours, everyday life in the by year 2000, like a 25 or something that. But a lot of people are still skeptical about whether our status of the like technology innovation can support. But still, so we are still in the hype cycle. But a lot of the like innovation activities going on based on this like a pattern application. So we will see what will happen, but I'm very like positive for this kind of vision.
That's interesting take, Alex. You mentioned about the shopping malls and everything getting open in metaverse. Nike being the front runner, of course. Yesterday only they launched a couple of designs of shoes in NFT space as well. Thinking, I mean, I believe all of those would of course be used in the different metaverse by the owners of those shoes. It's interesting. I mean, the patent of course helps the innovation move from one point to another, and what has been a trend in distributed computing environment, every day a lot of people are doing tremendous amount of work to improve the algorithms and reduce the memory consumption, the system powers and everything. So I also agree with you that innovation is going to shape the future of metaverse, and it's just the beginning.
Yeah.
Super. Moving to G. G, you mentioned that your company would actually allow people to put advertisements in the metaverse. So, would it be okay to say that metaverse would disrupt the way people are doing advertisements in the web too? Like we have to rely on Facebook and Google to give us ad space, to give us SEO keywords, to give us rankings, to give us authority online. How would the situation change in metaverse? Would the user have more control over their data, their advertisements? How's the
Yeah.
situation?
Absolutely. So the good thing about the metaverse and the decentralized metaverse actually is that we are anonymous. All of us we are anonymous. So it's gonna be difficult just to target you because we don't know who you are, right? So basically,
Okay.
what we want to do is in the future is actual. Let's say if you can give your I'll say like basic demographics, we can pay you just to watch ads or to see an ad or to interact with an ad. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only thing that would change, that will be different. And also, if you see advertisement in the metaverse, will be general because, like I said, you're anonymous. We don't know who you are. We don't know none information of you because you're connected with a wallet at the end of the day. But if you want to give your basic demographic, meaning where you're located or what your range of age or your gender, it's more than enough just to give you, or probably your interest. If you like to play golf, you like to play basketball, you like cars, you like hiking. That way is the only way that we can, target ads. But at the current moment, it's impossible to do it, just so you know. Just because we are in a blockchain, we're all decentralized and we are all anonymous.
Got it. So anonymity would play a major role in giving control to the user who's running the ad on metaverse.
Yeah, so that's the beauty of the Web3 because we're in the Web3. You have control of who you are and what you want to do. So you're in full control. You can mute whatever. That's the beauty of Web3 compared to Web2 because in Web2 you don't have control of your information. You don't have control. Not even people think that when they post in Facebook or Instagram, for example, they are the one owning your content and they are the one making money out of your content, and that doesn't happen in the Web3. Whatever you put in Web3, you own that. You are the owner and you get in. And if you want to get, you can get paid out of it, not the big corporations. They're going to get paid in the Web3 compared to the Web2.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, G, for adding that information. I believe the distinction between Web 2 and Web 3 would really help to all of our audience to understand the topic at a much granular level. Majorly, it's about control. Currently, Web 2 is being controlled by 4, 5, 6 giants sitting in the US who are controlling the internet literally. But when you go to Web 3, it's going to be decentralized. It's going to change the way people own, share, exchange the information. You can monetize whatever you have, whatever you create, and it's going to be a free economy in real sense. That also poses a lot of question around the privacy, the security aspect as well. So Alex, my question is to you, being a lawyer, being an attorney, how do you look at metaverse? Is it safe right now, or Are we too early into it? Are we rushing into it? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that that's not only for the metaverse. Actually, the old IT is had that kind of security issues. Yeah, actually, we had a similar discussion in my previous webinar, and then we talked a lot of the like a security expert, and then we talk about intensity of what will be the future of the metaverse. They said depending on how make this metaverse space secure. For example, that there was a lot of the like a criminal, like for example, they approach it to the metaverse, and then G talk about like for an identity, right? Because he set his identity for someone, and then he assumed that some other people as avatar, we don't know about it. And then if it is not completely like a decentralized, and there is no guarantee that your identity is genuine. And then he approaches someone, and then something that for example that maybe some sexually harassed, or some of the like a stealer, he's like coins, or for example this changing their ownership of the some metaverse, or something like the some of the for example something that for example you have an NFT asset in there, and then somebody actually to hacking your space, and then transfer ownership to him, right? So there will be many issues, and then I know that there is a Tony group, a friend of mine actually, he's a leader of the for that kind of it's a metaverse, a security issue with the metaverse, and then he also often every week have a meeting about that on for the Tonys and other security experts. So yeah, it will be complex. Yeah, it will be issuing if it is mass deployed. But fortunately, it is not yet, because, for example, Mark Zuckerberg vision about we have a metaverse every day. For example, like Gartner talk about 25% in the whole the population will be in the span in 1 hour in a metaverse. Then, yeah, at that time, yeah, that will be really issue that, because the real world, the metaverse is a reflection of the real world and connected, right? So whatever happens, every security issues even in the real space will be reflected in the virtual more seriously, because of the characteristic of its metaverse space, because it's a combination of the real and the virtual. And then in the virtual, that you cannot control time, material, space. So there is much freedom to you can do whatever. So that means that you have a degree of freedom increase, but there was degree of the increase of crime and security issues. So yeah, that's one we should take care of it, and then we started to looking at it, and then we need to find out to prepare that when this metaverse will be mass deployed, and then we need to be in a setting about some protocols, framework, standards, how to make metaverse world secure.
Fantastic, Alex. Great share. You touched upon a lot of points. One being metaverse is just a replica of your real world. That also means that whatever security threats or the typical rules, regulations, policies, and law enforcement agencies we have in the real world, something of that sort can also be implemented in the metaverse space, so that people behave in a certain manner and no one goes around and thinks that okay, this is normal. People doing unnecessary stuff or any kind of crimes in metaverse. So cybercrime is of course one thing which is worrying everybody when it comes to getting into IT. But apart from that as well, a lot of other civil or criminal crimes can also be stopped after placing rules, regulations, and law policies into the metaverse, so that one can behave in a certain fashion. Good point. That means that we are far from actually starting business in those metaverse. This is very early stage time. Maybe the time for early adopters. But if you are someone who wish to wait and see and then jump onto the bandwagon of metaverse, then this is probably not the right time for people who are not the risk takers. Would that be okay to say? If you are a risk taker, you can be into the metaverse and leverage the tech. Otherwise, you can wait and see how it goes and then jump on. What do you think, G?
Sorry, I lost you for a second. Can you repeat the question again, please?
Would it be okay to say that if you are a risk taker, you can enter into metaverse? If not, wait for a while and then when the time comes, time becomes right, then jump on.
Well, at the end of the day, if you come to the metaverse now, you're not taking any type of risks. I'll say it will happen the same thing as happened with social media. I remember because I've been working in marketing for the last 20 years. I was there when social media was created. So before social media, I'll say Facebook around 2007. Before that, we didn't have digital marketing. So when the social media came through, we started here like social media marketing and this and that. So I'm the same age of Mark Zuckerberg. So when he was in college, I was in college. So I remember when we were like a couple of thousand of people in Facebook, and all of a sudden, like 3 years later, we're like 3 billion people in Facebook. It will happen the same thing in the metaverse. So right now we're like a couple of thousand people in the metaverse, like 200 to 300K people in the metaverse, and you will see in 3 years you will have 1 billion, 2 billion people. It will happen the same thing as the social media, because the metaverse at the end of the day is like a continuation of social media, because it's a social media you're getting in. So instead to see it in a regular computer, you're gonna go immerse in the metaverse. So that's gonna be like social media 2.0. So I read an article the other day that Citibank is saying that the metaverse will have 5 billion people by 2030, and that's like in 8 years. So if you're coming in now, you just wander around and you just get to know the technology, interact with people. You get to know a bunch of nice people here, and of course, nice and not nice people, of course, but it's more nice people than non nice people in the metaverse. So just you don't think you're not taking any risk just to come here. We're right now in the metaverse. Right now we're in doing this great panel here in the metaverse. So you people are taking a step forward in this revolutionary industry.
Oh, fantastic for clearing the air around the topic, G. I have a follow-up question for you. You mentioned that this is the right time, not the late time for people to jump in. So, as a small business entity or a SME or a startup, how would you project metaverse for a budding company, uh, and how can they enter into metaverse? What
So
are the checks and balances they need to take care of?
yeah, that's a great question, because 99% of all brands and companies out there, they know what the metaverse is, but they don't understand what is. So it's kind of confusing, but they hear metaverse, 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 but they don't know what they can do in the metaverse. So my first recommendation to all those brands and companies is just to hire professional people, people that know what they're doing, because you can do great things in the metaverse. You can do great things with NFTs as a company. Even if I go to local level and I say a pizza shop is a local level pizza shop, they can have an NFT collection, just to for example, to give 50% off to every single pizza you buy for life. And right there, you have people that are gonna be just loyal to your company. You're selling an NFT, you're selling that, you're getting money up front, and you're giving 50% of discount, which that's already paid off for years, And but you have a loyal people coming back to you, even though, let's say, that person that bought an NFT is moving out of that small town, right? And they can sell that NFT to another person. When that transaction happens, the actual pizzeria, the pizza shop, has a royalty. So meaning that they're gonna get money out of the secondary sale. So right there, you have a new person who wanna be loyal. You get money out of the secondary sale. When you sell an NFT, you will get your money up front. So there's a no-brainer to companies to do NFT collections. But of course, you have to have a team of professionals that know what they're doing on helping you out on what they can create in the meta or what can they create in the Web3 or NFT space, you know? So I see in 5 years, I'll say more than 50% of all brands all around the world having something in the Web3. It could be a presence in the metaverse, it could be an NFT collection, it could be anything.
Fantastic. So in next 5 years, you are forecasting that the world of metaverse or the world around us would basically change. Everybody would be in metaverse, coming up with new applications rather than just collecting NFT. People are actually going to be using those NFT and making a meaningful commerce out of it. That's great, G. Thanks, thanks for the share.
Sure.
So I also read that by 2028, that is 6 years from now, metaverse industry is projected to be $1 trillion economy. So Alex, with this great amount of money being pumped in from the investors and VC communities, what kind of areas do you reckon are there which needs improvement in the metaverse? What are the areas of improvement in metaverse which can be adopted by startups or budding entrepreneurs, small businesses, and they can enter into it after removing those?
Yeah, I think that before give that like a answer, actually, I have some comment about your previous like question about the adoption of the risk taking about something like that. Yeah, I have been 30 years in after my PhD. So for my professional career is more than 30 years, and I look at a lot of the like technology, the like growing, like they emerges, and then some technologies actually never have in the market and then die, and then some are successful. So I will look at the whole the cycle of the innovation, and then I'm expecting that the metaverse will be at the stage that a lot of people are like looking at whether they will be grow or they die. It's just one time like a popularity or something like that. So we need some kind of strategy. For example, that G mentioned about the Web3 is based on like a decentralized technology, but a lot of people are talking about Web3 now, but you know that I also have a lot of the experience in blockchain, in starting from the like I see a lot of the like issues with like decentralization, how you establish DAO or something like that. And then we actually experienced with this deployment of blockchain. And then what I found was actually that we need a step-by-step like adoption. For example, that the blockchain initially they want to like deploy as a completely decentralized, like a public blockchain, and everybody can join freely. But it was not happen actually. That's why there was some initiative like a private blockchain, like a Hyperledger, probably or something like that. So and then they want to focus on more like enterprise like applications. So they want to be focused on more like a tech savvy like deployment, and then they can experience and then deploy to the mass market or like that. So we need to think about that. We have the kind of strategy that we may be starting from the like a more focused group, like enterprise-wise application, and at the same time like a small group of the like a metaverse application for the consumers, and then you need to migrate, and then looking at the like all kind of the issues, and then take over the kind of the issues, and then we can migrate. So I think that with respect to the metaverse, that I have seen that what if somebody asks what do you think about the key essential part of the metaverse, I will tell experience. So I think that the metaverse is all about our experience, right? So all the risk is happening because we are not ever like fully experienced in this kind of metaverse space. That's why. Because if you go into some unknown space, you are very, very for example, you have a task risking, right, to go explore that place. So we need to provide enough like experience to the consumers and the adopters to have this kind of issues. So I think that all the like metaverse industry should know about it, and we need like a very smart strategy to deploy this metaverse to can be like a fully mass deployed like ecosystem in the future. And then for your question about that, what kind of things actually we need to prepare for the startups? Yeah, that's tough question because for example, that recently there are a lot of the like my colleagues in the venture capital that they claim that what I saw actually that they didn't think about this is a metaverse, but they think about it is very important technology. Like for example, like how you can actually rendering your like a physical space to the like a virtual space, because the recent trend is that as you see in this metaverse meeting platform, that everything is 3D, right? So we want experience in 3D, right? So actually, the recent focus of the startups, the get the fund is they have like how to actually the like transform your current 2D technology to 3D. So recently I one of my colleagues in the venture capital, he said, oh, we are very successful because we invested some company actually their technology is actually the converting your like a traditional 2G website to the 3G, and then put into your metaverse space. So even though like you are in the legacy like industry, and then actually they can turn into easily to metaverse 3D space. So you can think about that in like over like or 3 or 4 5 years. Actually, we are in the transition. So maybe some people talk about like a very like a disruptive technology, like a completely different AI technology. You have like your avatar have a like a feel and like have intelligence like you, maybe, or someone such as like a quantum computing to issue about a secret or something like that. But my suggestion is that looking at the migration, and then looking at the current status of the web or other networking or other like computing technology, and then what like a metaverse vision is going on. Like we want to be immersed in a completely 3D environment, and then how you can actually transform you whatever you have in the legacy, like a 2D website or whatever you like a product or your services, whatever you have in now, and then how you think about how actually smartly transform your current like for example platform or whatever your business or whatever you have a footprint to move into metaverse. That'll be the good topic. Then and then a lot of the like venture investors or angel investors will be looking for that opportunity. So have in mind that first look at the vision of what the metaverse is going, and then looking at around you that what kind of available now in the 2D or in the like a legacy, and then think about smartly how you migrate from the current status of the future. So that'll be the hint that you can find it. And then I also like, for example, that I'm going to have a webinar next week about the topic is how you develop the metaverse pattern application patterns. So my idea is that looking at the current state of pattern application, and then you can expect what will be the innovation topic in the like a few years later, and then looking at the like starting from this as a like a prior art, and then looking at what will be the next invention, and then migrate, and then adding up something, and then creating new component or something that you will be like a new innovation that migrate from the current state for the future. So that'll be my suggestion that you should be looking at it.
Fantastic, Alex. Very great share again. You touched upon great points like improvement in the metaverse, what kind of migration people can actually do, because right now we are all living in 2D world. Metaverse is all about 3D, and there are going to be a lot of challenges when it comes to migration. And anyways, humans are known to be resistant to change. So this is going to be a great challenge. One of the key aspects which you focused on and G also focused on is to get the experts in the 3D space, people who can convert 2D to 3D, make your business up and running in metaverse, and that actually is the gap right now, which one can identify as a startup or SME, and all the VCs and angels would be willing to fund those ideas as well, which can help you to move from physical world to the phygital metaverse, and that's going to be an interesting point, of course. And I mean, yes, as a patent attorney, I also agree that the more problems, the pain points, the startup companies or individuals or the techies would identify, the better it is for the entire tech ecosystem to develop tools and plug and play solutions which can help their business migrate to metaverse. Like today, we are having this conference hold in this Word events, Wordway events, which is again a great platform which is helping us to conduct this seamlessly. So there are going to be a lot of challenges, a lot of difficulties and problems, which of course the individuals or the risk takers guys need to overcome. I have another one question for you, Alex. When we talk about improving the metaverse system or overall experience of 3D, the question comes that it's going to require a lot of processing, right? So, how sustainable metaverse is?
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a very fantastic question. You know that because my current focus is metaverse and in the in combined with the sustainability. So that's very question to me. Then I proud that I'm the few actually initiating that kind of activities. And then you know that the current after COVID-19 the in the world if you ask me to about the tell two big trend, I'm saying the metaverse and sustainability. So for example, the sustainability, we care about our people and the environment, right? So actually so sustainable means that many meanings, but the sustainability, I'm telling that the sustainability means first you should be to care about people, right? For example, that the people means that you, right? And then other people, like in the community people or the society people are like that. And then how you can care, for example, that make secure is one point, make ethnic is one point, right? So you can think about a lot of the care about the good better influence. For example, that you are too much the addict to the game, it will be the sustainable game, right? So it's a game should be not only for the addicted, it should be like a fun and education and sensation, right? So it's not just avoid your real life, right? Because you escape to the metaverse game to escape from the real world. It will be not the sustainable, right? So you should be care about the people. And the second thing is you should care about our planet. You know that we have several days ago we were the Earth Day, you know, the World Earth Day. We need to care for you heard about the climate change, right? We are people together living in, and then you should know that the metaverse cannot exist without our real world, right? Without Earth, metaverse will not exist, right? So we need to also care about our Earth. So whatever reflected in the metaverse, you should care about our Earth, our physical world. So for its environmental, you should be careful. For example, that Bitcoin, the problem is that in the Bitcoin minings consume a lot of electricity and then generate carbon, and then it will be affect climate change risk. And then NFT the same thing, but NFT will be changing because most NFT is based on Ethereum, right? And then here, for example, Ethereum 2.0 will be have a less electric consume a consensus mechanism. So there are people are now more and more interested in how actually the less produce a carbon emission for doing this kind of the NFT transaction. So that will be another way actually that we can contribute a sustainable metaverse experience. So people join the metaverse, they will have a good influence. And then recently there was a trend for example, that whenever you enjoy in the metaverse actually and then there was a transaction and there was some part of it will be donated to protect your forest or the green environment. So that is another thing. And then finally, why should you care about economics? Economics is also the sustainability. What I mean is that the sustainable economics means that for example, this is a recent trend. A lot of people are now just lost into the metaverse space, and then often they're some shock. For example, that I'm originally from South Korea, and then South Korea is a much have a boom before this eastern part, and western part. So they have a lot of the initiate build up their metaverse space. All of the retailers and shops and the bank and everything you heard about that I made in my chart in the industry application, that they have their metaverse space. And what happened was actually that it looks like a one-time event because it wasn't persistent. Because initially they advertise, oh, come visit our metaverse space, you will have a good experience, and if you join it, we have a bonus, you will have for instance NFT, there will be the airdrop or whatever. But once this event is end, actually the people lose their interest to beat it. So it is very important that you should design your metaverse experience that's sustainable, not only the people and others. It should be persistent to have attention to, and then get the attention, and then you with the persistently have making money, like I said, economically. So design wise, you should be very careful about, and then the smart strategy actually how you get the attention from the visitor to your metaverse space, and how you make them a very comfortable educational and then memorable and the storytelling experience to them. So this is all our expert duty, right, to make this happen. So I'm also organize that kind of event, and then talk with a lot of experts about how actually design and provide that kind of the a sustainable metaverse experience to the users. So yeah, that's one, yeah, fantastic. And then I was working on it, and then if you are interested, then I welcome to join to my effort.
Fantastic, Alex. Great take again. Metaverse and sustainability, of course, there are poles apart. The topic is what everybody felt, but then you explain it very beautifully, saying that being sustainable is something which is our responsibility, our duty, something which we should look for our nature, our friends, family, and being sustainable. It also means sustainable from the economics perspective, which is something which I never imagined. Again, good points. As you mentioned that people are doing a lot of innovations and improvising the algorithms for doing NFT exchanges, Bitcoin exchanges, so that they can reduce less gas or less CO2 emission, which can of course again be a very good topic for innovation in the coming years, and we can see a seamless metaverse experience with no or little CO2 emissions, which makes the entire experience sustainable as well. My last question to G is this. So G, we have heard a lot of stories, and we have seen a lot of videos from Bill Gates and Zuckerberg saying that the future of work would be to enter into metaverse building, going to your 7th floor, room number 3A conference hall, and then you are meeting 10 of your colleagues in the conference hall and doing the meeting. How far is this vision from the reality right now? What do you think? G, you there?
Sorry, I was so sorry. Yeah, so in my company, in that chat, we all are working from home remotely. So we own this, or the VR headset, and we connect to the metaverse just to help meetings and all the good stuff. And that feels like you're there. That feels like you're with the people. So you don't need to be in an office just to work with people around. You can share your screen, you can be in the board. So that's now. That's what's going on now, guys. We are in the future here. Just right now, we are in the future, and that is why Facebook they changed their name to Meta because they know that the continuation of the social media is going to be the metaverse, and they want to have people in the Web 1, Web 2 to get confused and say, oh, if metaverse means Facebook, which is not. We all know it's not Facebook, but they are doing a great job, on the marketing side, just to changing their name to Meta. Because when I speak with people that they don't know about metaverse, they think about Facebook right away. So they're doing a great job on that, and that's why they own Oculus. That's why they're working now in AR and VR glasses, and that's why they changed their name, because we are in the future, guys. So the future is now, and if you are not in the metaverse, so you're gonna be out just in matter of days or weeks.
Very powerful statement, G, you made. If you're not in the metaverse, you are out. And that's why actually we started with our first ever webinar in metaverse, because we don't want to be out. And as you said, it's great to know that that chat is already using metaverse to conduct their meetings. That's great share. And of course, a lot of participants who are listening to us, hearing us from across the globe, would also try to implement their stand-up calls, their meetings in metaverse, and or at least experience the feel, because that's important. Once you like the feel, then you get hooked to it, and I'm sure that that's what is happening with G and Alex as well. They've been in this industry for many decades, and now they are experiencing and getting on to the new technology as and when it comes. And it's not far. We are already in the future. That's great. That also justifies that yes, we are metaverse ready. Though there are challenges in terms of security, privacy, in terms of electricity consumption or CO2 emissions, but all of those can be taken care as we move along. And all the physical activities which we do in real world can be replicated into metaverse. That's what is also very important. As Alex said and G said, that you need to have good quality experts, subject matter experts, helping you out in doing transition from physical to virtual world to metaverse world. Otherwise, it's gonna be difficult. So always reach out to those experts so that they can help you out. Uh, Again, very great conversation, guys. Alex and G, I enjoyed every bit of it, and I'm sure all the participants enjoyed your share as well. We discussed a lot of points. Before we close the night here about the metaverse, both of you get the chance to ask question to each other or to me, or share a topic. Go ahead. Who likes to go first? You can wave the hand as well, by the way. One question, G or Alex, if you guys want to ask each other or to me, go ahead. Otherwise, we are set. We have covered a lot of points, and I'm sure that that's going to help a lot of people.
Probably someone in the audience is the one to ask some questions. It's possible.
Yes, if they can raise hand, you can get the question. Uh, Daniel, can you help? G, do you know the name of the guy who's asking question?
Let me see. I don't see no here.
Daniel, if you can see, can we have questions from the audience? Via chat, I believe we can. So if you have a question, please drop in the chat so that we can take it. Yeah, Daniel, go ahead.
Yep, you can either write your question in the chat, or I'm sorry, or raise your hand and I'll give you the microphone. The chat is located in the bottom right, just next to the microphone.
I don't see anyone.
There's some questions in the chat. So VJ asked, the question is, can you tell me more about Web3?
So I can answer that question. Actually, just to answer Web3, I need to go back to Web 1. Web 1 was when the internet was created around 1995, and the only thing that you can do in the internet was just to read, okay, to consume information. So around 2004, 2007, Web 2 came around with social media. So now you can read and consume, where you also can create content. Okay, so now lately around 2019, 2020, let's say 2018, started Web3. So now you can do the same, which is you can read and consume, you can create content, but the good thing about Web3 that now you own part of the internet. So you don't rely on big companies on have your information or have your content. Now you can monetize your content, and that is why Metaverse and NFTs are really good part of the important part from the Web3, because it's how you own stuff, how you own content, how you own land, how you own wearables, how you own things in the internet. So that's the difference between what one, what two, and what three. I don't know if you want to add something, Alex.
Oh, I think that you gave a very good answer, but that actually that my comment is that I've talked with a lot of the like engineers, like for example, I'm a member of the IEEE, and then not just the Web3. Actually, a lot of people are confused about what is the difference between the Metaverse and Web3. Right? Some I think about they're the same or there's a different. Actually, the metaverse actually require Web3 in the future to be like completely open metaverse. As you mentioned, that every individual have their ownership of their whatever they have a properties, right, everything. So it is fundamentally supporting by the like a decentralized technology, like for example, like blockchain, other like a decentralized technology supporting it. So we should be careful about the Web3 is supporting metaverse, but the metaverse itself is built up onto the a Web3, but the Web3 does not mean that everything of the metaverse. This is one comment. And then the other comment is that we should be very careful about for example, in the appearance of to the end user, like in the several layers you can think about Web3, and the end users will be the same thing, except that you will experience in the like this platform, you will experience in the completely different from yours, like a 3D immersive, and then but still the same thing, like you can create content and you can put it in there, everything. But in the bottom layer, actually, in the behind the scene is actually we should be careful about how actually to manage this like a decentralized land, because we also have an experience in the like a blockchain, a completely open blockchain. So in that space, actually, we need to be consensus about the communities, especially for the export, that how actually the like a setup standard of the in the background, like a networking or the structuring of the Web3. So so in the future there will be more standard way to like say that what this Web3 means to the end users, and what is mean to the in the backend stage or something like that. So yeah, we still need to work a lot, but I like G, you are the expert in this industry, expert to have a set up that stage, and then we can move into more and more in the Web3 in the metaverse space. So yeah, let's see what will happen. But thank you for your effort.
Sure.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I think I can read all the questions. So probably this one is to me. Sandy is asking which tools are used for 3D work creation. And actually, it just depends on what type of metaverse you are building on. But basically, there's three tools that you can use. It could be Unreal Engine, Unity, and Blender. Those are the three that is the most used in the metaverse out there right now. But just depending on which metaverse, of course. And I really don't know how to convert AutoCAD design to 3D world, so I don't have that specific one. But I owe you that one, okay? So and how can we contact the presenters? Well, let me put my full name here, Gianfranco Lopen. You can find me in LinkedIn. You can send me a friend request and any messages. I think same to you, Alex, right?
LinkedIn would be a best tool for everybody to connect. Though it's a web 2, but we can work with it. So you guys can go to Photon Legal's page and you can find G as well as Alex tagged on different posts. That will be easy for you to pick up their name, and then you can contact them, both of them, via LinkedIn, or me if you want.
Yeah, and then I add on to the G's answer about the what kind of tools for the creation of the 3D world. Yeah, actually that kind of engine was actually originally for developing the game. So they are fantastic and beautiful graphics, but there are other options depending on your application. For example, that you want to developing your web world. So I mentioned the migrate from the 2D web world to 3D world. There are the many tools available actually actually convert to the 2D to 3D. So you're looking at the in the Googling and then type web to like a 3D. Maybe that kind of keyword will give you some tools. And another tool will be because we didn't talk much about real side. For example, that the metaverse can be like a virtual space augmented by the real space, like avatar of me can join this meeting is me is a physical space joined to this cyberspace. This is a metaverse space because a combination of the real space and cyberspace. But also we also know about augmented reality, actually based on real world and the virtual space we join. And then there are many tools, maybe heard about web AR. So there are several tools you can looking at. So it depending on what kind of metaverse you want to build up. So there are many tools available. So you can pick and choose for your application.
Fantastic, Alex and G. Thank you so much for answering all the questions of our participants. This has been a great day, great share. You guys have been fantastic speakers and givers. You have shared a lot of tips and hacks, which everyone, right from small business entity to startup to an individual to an engineer or to a person who's actually thinking of metaverse or learning about metaverse can understand and gain a lot of insights. Thanks again for the great shares. You guys are full of knowledge and have been fantastic speakers to the event. Great to have you start the first day of our Are We Metaverse Ready webinar, the first ever webinar organized by Photon Legal in the IP space in the metaverse on the occasion of World Intellectual Property Day. Thanks again, guys. You have been fantastic throughout the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye-bye, all.
Slime at them like choppers. Better took those risks, cold blood in my fist. We fire starters. One out of a million will reach those heights. Always get a feeling that I won't deny that work. Never can toss. Look in my eyes, I'm on the rocks. Rise. But I'm up now, we all too late to fall. Yeah, anyone coming up, I'll lift them all. Never look down when it's risk of all. They got guts, got a lever, gotta wish it all. Ain't got no feelings, we just floating. Yeah, I'm that greatest stand that made it out the ocean. A couple milli now, I'm causing a commotion. I've been coasting, hear my name around the world like an explosion. Rise up. We are the apocalypse, and a pair that keeps us floating. As we fly above the stars, the night won't scare us falling. So rise up. Way too great to be landed. Rise up. Way too great to be standing.
They never gonna stop us, fly by them like choppers, better cut those risks, hold one of my fists, we fly.